Hi everyone, Dr. Schwan here with Dreaming Big. Our guest this month is Shala Mills of Fort Hays State University, and Shala is the chair of the Political Science Department here at Hays and has been in Hays for quite some time now. And actually, we were talking before the show, my beautiful wife Tommy will be teaching for you as an adjunct in political science.
We are thrilled to have one of our former students coming back to teach for us in the program.
Well, I know she's thrilled to come back and teach, and not just teach at Fort Hays, but to work with you. I know she loved working with you before. So, well, Shala, let's start out with something just very simple. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. So I started at Fort Hays State University in 1994, so I've been there a long time. I began as the Affirmative Action Officer, and then in '97 I joined the Political Science Department. So I began doing the pre-law program, and in 2006 I became chair of the department, so I've been chair for a decade now. And so coming up on my 20th year just in the Political Science Department. So I've watched a lot of students go through that program, including your lovely wife, Tommy. So I also serve right now as the Director of Liberal Education, which is really the general education program at Fort Hays, the common curriculum that all the students take no matter what their major is. And so I chair that committee, and we're working on a major revision of the general education program right now. So our committee's been working really hard the past couple of years thinking about that. And then also for the last several years I have worked really closely with the American Association of State Colleges and Universities. Over 400 state colleges and universities are part of this organization, and I've been part of a project on global challenges where we look at sort of the key challenges and threats facing the world today and building a common curriculum for campuses to use. So it's been really fun, and last year, all year, I was on sabbatical working on that project. So it's been very exciting. Can
you tell us a little bit about the project? That's really interesting.
Sure. So the Global Challenges curriculum that we built for ASCU, a group of faculty from over a dozen different universities around the country from different disciplines came together to build this curriculum, and we look at what was created by the Center for Strategic and International Studies. It's a nonpartisan think tank in DC. They created something they called the 7 revolutions. It was the 7 key drivers of change facing the world today: population, resources, technology, information, economies, security, and governance. So these changes in these 7 areas they felt were really impacting you no matter what sector you might be in, whether it was government or industry. So they put together that framework, and we built a curriculum around it. So helping students really think about how changes in those 7 areas are going to impact what they do,
so they're going to be
personally and professionally.
Any new degrees coming out of this, or any new partnerships with DC or anything like that?
Well, we've worked very closely with these more than a dozen campuses, and with this ASCU in Washington DC and with CSIS. But this curriculum has been offered on over 20 campuses around the country to more than 2,000 students, and we certainly teach it here at Fort Hays. So it's in our general education program right now, and I just think it's a terrific curriculum. We're offering an honors section of that right now, so I'm teaching the honors section this semester. So I think a really great, no matter what your major is, there's something in this course for you to think about what the future's going to be like, and how do you want to make choices personally and professionally to bring about the best possible future.
No, I mean, if we're talking education and we're talking the future of education, I mean, this is perfect.
Absolutely.
Tommy and I, when we were out in DC, I worked out there as a strategist, and she, she worked out there obviously being a political science instructor and American government professor. That was her perfect world out there. So yeah, that's interesting stuff.
And even what she's going to be doing for us, teaching virtually for us, think how technology has changed education. And even, more than 20 years ago when I first came to Fort Hays, we did not deliver online education the way we do today. So those changes, those rapidly advancing changes in technology, have opened up a whole new ways that students can get the educational experiences that they need. And she's going to be participating in one of them. So.
Well, and talking about the virtual college here at Fort Hays State and the online education, there's not too many people that actually do it as well as Fort Hays State University.
We do it very well.
Yes, you do.
We've really been on the forefront nationally with that, and as a result have won a lot of awards. And our department is really proud of recognition we've received both at the undergraduate and the graduate level for our online education. And I think there's just a very deep commitment on the part of our institution to meet the needs of the online learner, whether they're domestic or international. And our departments work so hard to create really strong platforms for that online learning environment, and really good course shells that we've developed, and then hiring great faculty, adjunct or full-time, to teach them, I think has been really key to that success.
Well then, and you know, I recently started teaching adjunct, teaching a stats class in the HHP department. I would have never thought, how do you teach stats class online, virtual college? But it's actually not that difficult.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
But yeah, no, that's really interesting stuff. I wasn't expecting to talk about that,
Right.
but no, it just piqued my interest, and that's very interesting stuff. So I'll tell you what, though, we're going to take a brief commercial break. When we come back, I know you have a story to share with us, and, and you have some other stuff to share with us.
Sure.
So we'll come back, share that with us, so stay tuned.
Great.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Shala Mills, and Shala, at Fort Hays State University, you're talking about this project, and we were getting some good synergy going there before the commercial break and during the commercial break. Share us a little bit about a project you were telling me about and some other great stuff you're doing.
Sure. So we were talking about the Food and Hunger initiatives during the break, and that's something that we're doing at Fort Hays State University that I've been so excited to be a part of. We had several years ago, I taught a seminar on food and politics, and the students in that class really wanted to start a campus community garden. And I didn't really think it, I thought we'd get it off the ground and it might last a summer, but here we are several years later, and not only has that project lasted, it has really grown, and I'm so proud of what they've done. We also combined it with a campus food pantry. And really all across the country, there's been an explosion in opening food pantries on college campuses. We read a lot in the newspaper today about the debt that students have, the increasing debt load that they have when they graduate from college. And so many of the students nationwide and also on our campus really are often just strained trying to make ends meet and trying to maybe juggle work and school and maybe family while they're coming back to school. So we have done 4 separate food insecurity surveys on campus, and we know that about a third of our students in the on-campus student population experience some level of food insecurity. Now it's not the kind of food insecurity we think about in developing countries, but it's someone whose paycheck just doesn't make it to the end of the month. Someone who's having to make choices between having a healthy and well-balanced meal or eating something that's cheap but not so healthy. Ramen noodles are fun now and then, but if that's your steady diet, that's not really very good for you. And so because campuses are recognizing that this isn't unique to us, there are campuses that have even higher rates of food insecurity among their students. We're seeing more and more campuses open food pantries. And so we started one, a couple of students on campus a few years ago. Jordan Schmiedler and Kelly Knuckles really wanted to start a food pantry on campus, and we did. It's in the library. And so I've been the sponsor of both the food pantry and the campus community garden since they started. And I'm just really proud of the work that we've done. We had for 2 years a Kansas Health Foundation grant, $66,000 that we got in that grant to help build the infrastructure for these projects. So it's just been a terrific resource for folks in our university community. One of the things we've tried to do with the food pantry is to make it really accessible to students regardless of food insecurity. So you might be going there to check out a cookbook. You might be going there to maybe just pick up some ideas on gardening or to learn more about nutrition. I want to be vegan. How can I do that in a healthy way, right? And so we try to have that kind of information there as well. And we also have every Friday something we call Fresh Food Friday, and we welcome everyone in the university community to come. Maybe we're going to have apples or oranges or string cheese, or sometimes we offer a meal. We might have soup, potato dumpling soup, or green bean dumpling soup. We might have spaghetti. We do different things on Fridays just to bring folks over to the pantry. It's just been a great set of projects. Folks are very supportive. I think the campus community loves to give to the pantry, and it's just been a terrific resource to the students who really need it, and sometimes even to faculty and staff who occasionally get hit with some crisis they're not expecting and need
Probably
to
need to
make
get
a visit.
HHP department involved in that if they're not. And
Yeah,
it makes perfect sense,
absolutely.
right? Especially with the healthy part. And
Yeah,
that's
we have on our Food and Hunger Initiatives Committee on campus, we have folks from a variety of different disciplines. And when we applied for the Kansas Health Foundation grant, that was really a project that Jenny Manry from the nursing department and Jean Gleichner from the agriculture department and myself from political science, the three of us sponsored that as the academic sponsors to think about, you know, both the ag aspects of growing a garden, the public health aspects of nutrition and healthy eating, and then the public policy aspects of addressing food and hunger issues in our communities. So it's just
awesome.
a great project. And I've loved working with my colleagues all across campus. Brett Zollinger from the sociology department has participated in the research, doing the food insecurity projects. So it's been a real interdisciplinary opportunity to think about how we meet the needs of students on our campus. And we have a great team of students who have worked on the project in the past and now. The McCampbell brothers, Brendan and Luke McCampbell, both really helped start the garden and keep that going. I already mentioned Kelly and Jordan, who have in the past, all of these students have graduated, but they've all been really involved in that. And we have the Student Government Association has funded our staff. So right now we have Shane Keller, we have who's sort of overseeing all the students. We have Peyton Zweifel, who's running the garden. We have Paige Thompson, who's running the food pantry, and we have Anna Hand, who's been working on communications. And just, I couldn't ask for a better student staff. They're really passionate about the work and doing a wonderful job.
Well, as we were talking during the break, squirrels and raccoons, so we'll table that discussion for a while. Otherwise, we'll probably be here, you know,
all
for
day
a few
talking
shows.
about these.
So let's, you know, this show is about inspiring others and sharing stories of overcoming adversity to becoming better from it. And so I wanted to see if you would share a story that you have.
Yeah. Well, you know, we talked about that right before the show started, like what were some of the ideas that I had. And, you know, I've been really fortunate. I've had a lot of opportunities and a lot of support in my life. But I think, you know, the truth is that life itself is just always a struggle. Our day-to-days can be struggles and present challenges. There are always things beyond our control. And I was sharing right before we started the show with you that a book that's meant a lot to me is a book by Scott Peck, The Road Less Traveled, and his opening line is that life is difficult. And one of the great insights that he has is not to be depressed about that, but to realize that's just the nature of life. And so with every single thing that we are going to love, whether it is a person, a place, or a thing, there are going to be changes and losses. And we shouldn't avoid that. We should embrace that. We were talking about your precious little Ella. It was not that long ago that my daughters were toddlers, but they grow up and they leave home. And that's the nature of things. It changes, it grows. But every gain you have, every real gain in your life requires that you invest in the pain. So whether it's the pain of the workout if you're an athlete, or whether it's the pain of the intellectual struggle if you're getting a college degree, or whether it's the pain of parenting, bringing them into the world, the birthing pain, but also just the pains and struggles of the sleepless nights and helping children grow so that they can be the best adults they can be. All of those things are challenges, but we ought to embrace those challenges.
And that's what's perfect about that, Shala. So when I have people on the show, we usually talk about the bigger tragedies and the traumatic events and, you know, growing from those, but we never really talk about the day-to-day. I mean, it is a challenge every day. If you just think about it, it's very challenging, but we have a chance to grow every day. And then, and if you fail that day, so what? The next day, guess what? You have another opportunity again, right?
Choice. That's right.
No, that's perfect.
Right.
What was the book again?
Right. Well, that's The Road Less Traveled.
Road Less
Scott
Traveled.
Peck.
Okay. So I know you wanted to share a book that you have here.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. So you asked me to bring a favorite book, and I struggled with that, Jamie, because I'm an avid reader. So I went through all kinds of ideas. Books from my childhood, books that I loved reading to my own children, books that have been transformative for me professionally. I was just struggling. And then I remembered that April is National Poetry Month, and I decided to bring one of my favorite books of poetry, and I thought I might share one of my favorite poems.
If you don't mind, show the audience the book there. And
so Wendell Berry is a marvelous philosopher and writer. a poet and an essayist and a novelist, and he is, I think, a voice of such wisdom in our contemporary times. And this is a collection of his poems from 1957 to 1982. I had a chance to hear him speak at the Land Institute in Salina a couple of years ago, and it was a real joy for me. But one of my favorite of his poems is one that I think speaks to a lot of things that I value and care about. And so for National Poetry Month on your show, I'd like to read the poem Manifesto, The Mad Farmer Liberation Front. Love the quick profit, the annual raise, vacation with pay. Want more of everything ready-made. Be afraid to know your neighbors and to die. And you will have a window in your head. Not even your future will be a mystery anymore. Your mind will be punched in a card and shut away in a little drawer. When they want you to buy something, they'll call you, and when they want you to die for profit, they'll let you know. So friends, every day do something that won't compute. Love the Lord. Love the world. Work for nothing. Take all you have and be poor. Love someone who does not deserve it. Denounce the government and embrace the flag. Hope to live in that free republic for which it stands. Give your approval to all you cannot understand. Praise ignorance, for what man has not encountered, he has not destroyed. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is the forest that you did not plant and that you will not live to harvest. Say that the leaves are harvested when they have rotted into the mold, and call that profit. Prophesy such returns. Put your faith in the 2 inches of humus that will build under the trees every 1,000 years. Listen to carrion. Put your ear close and hear the faint chattering of the songs that are to come. Expect the end of the world, but laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful, though you have considered all the facts. So long as women do not go cheap for power, please women more than men. Ask yourself, will this satisfy a woman satisfied to bear a child? Will this disturb the sleep of a woman near to giving birth? Go with your love to the fields. Lie easy in the shade and rest your head in her lap, and swear allegiance to what is nighest your thoughts. As soon as the generals and the politicos can predict the motions of your mind, lose it. Leave it as a sign to mark the false trail, the way you didn't go. Be like the fox who makes more tracks than necessary, some in the wrong direction, and practice resurrection.
That was good. Ask the questions for which there are no answers, and losing your mind. I always love that. I always think was it Bohr who had the crazy quote about your theory's crazy but not crazy enough. And so no, that was really good stuff.
I really love the part plant sequoias. Invest in something that will long outlast you, not just in what makes you happy today. Think about the things that are really lasting, and then that whole image of, if you're making a choice to do something, ask, would this disturb the sleep of a woman who's about to bring a child into the world? Is she going to worry about the future of that child? Are you making choices that would leave her easy, that she's bringing her child into this world? So
that's
I
awesome.
think it's beautiful.
Yes, it was.
It speaks to a long-term future beyond ourselves.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was powerful stuff in there. Reading a poem. I'm not big into poems, but I'm big into thinking, like metacognition or metathinking, thinking about thinking. That's really what poems are, right? Mm-hmm. Anything else you'd like to share? Otherwise,
great. It's been good to talk to you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Shala.
Jamie.
It's been awesome.
All right.
So great stuff, and I want to thank the audience for watching today, and thank you for being a guest. And God bless the United States of America.